G'day everybody, it's Max, and welcome to another tips tutorial on room combinations and making sure your students get all the pastoral care, medical services, and toiletries that they need. And if they're not encouraged to do so, we're just gonna kind of shove them to go that way. So let's go in there and let's have a look. So here we are with Urban Bungle, and of course we got the new DLC of Space Camp is coming out here any day now. And of course I thought we should talk a little bit more about room combinations. Now, this is where basically we are looking at the students, their needs, and then nudgingly encouraging them to get those needs fulfilled. Because students tend to be really sloppy with their needs, right? Like, you'll notice lots of students running around filthy, dirty, and needing to use the bathroom all the time. And it's like you're screaming at the screen going, use the bathroom already, man. Just use the bathroom. And they don't do it. So what we're doing is we're going to encourage them a little bit. Let's have a look at a few areas. So here's a really nice example of a room combination where students are encouraged to use the bathroom and have a shower, because to do so, it's the only way they can get to their dormitory. So in this case, you can see here we have several dorms in the back, and the only access point to these dorms is for them to come through this bathroom and this shower. So in this case, if they want to go to sleep, they got to come through the shower room and through the bathroom. Now, the nice part about that is that, let's have this student for an example. If this student needed to use the bathroom or was feeling dirty, they would be very, let's just say, more encouraged to take care of those needs because they are actually passing through these two areas. So here, let's go up here to our other dorm area, and you'll see an even bigger example of this. So here is my larger dorm area on this map. And again, to get into this dorm area where, there's lots of food choices and games and stuff for them to do, they have to go through the shower and the washroom areas. And of course, as you can see here, we have two students that we're doing through in the dorms, and before going out, what are they doing? They're actually having a shower, which is nice. That cleans up that whole issue. Now let's have a look at another example of how you can use combination rooms to encourage students to use things. Though we're talking about dormitories as the main source of where you can put a combination room in to kind of encourage them to get a shower and or use the bathroom, here's another area where they can do that, and that is lecture halls. So all students, no matter what class they're going to, are probably going to a lecture hall. And you may only have like 1 or 2 lecture halls for like 6 different courses. That's fine. But if you force them to go through a bathroom area to get to those lecture halls, there's chances are they'll use that bathroom, and this bathroom is busy all the time. And I have to have cleaners come over here all the time. It's crazy. And that's because students, not being super smart all the time, will totally ignore all your normal bathrooms, but because they've got to go through this bathroom to get into the lecture halls, these bathrooms are busy all the time. All the time. So here's another example of lecture hall usage and another room. That's right, medical. So once again, students do silly things, and of course it'd be really nice if they would just go see the doctor and get themselves fixed up. But unless it literally is in their face, it takes them forever to go see a doctor. Except in this case, to get to the lecture hall, they have to go through the medical room. They've got no choice. So in this case, anybody who's needing medical will most likely be encouraged to stop here and actually fix their issues. And of course, a lot of their issues come from toiletry and or shower a lot of the time. It's not very often their medical issue comes from specific issues around entertainment, though there are a few specific maps where that is a case, such as like the ghost / haunted map, right? Where you have to cure all the Pumpkinhead things. Well, you can do this kind of maneuver just like with these classrooms here. You could do that where the classroom is here and then put the medical bay separated by an enclosed hallway. So students coming out with Pumpkinhead would immediately get transferred right into medical and they could get cured right away. Otherwise, they take forever to figure out that they should go get help, right? But let's talk about now the third type. Now, in this case, I don't have it set up, but the third location that students use all the time, libraries. And one of the things I really like to do with libraries is I like actually setting up my library and my food court area, and this would be my main library. I like setting up my main library and my main food court area, then put a washroom set in front of it. Now, in this case, I didn't have to do it just because I managed to have like lots of washrooms and they're not having any problems on this map. That being said, on some maps, you can take advantage of that mechanic by making sure that the library's at the back, then your open space is your food court, then in front of this, you put in a sealed washroom slash shower area, and students are then forced to go through the washrooms and showers to get to the library. And the other nice part is that when they're leaving the library, if they have any hunger needs along with their shower and food needs, they tend to stop and pick up whatever them extra needs are. And it also means that you don't have to run multiples of these. So one of the most big expenses you'll have to deal with when it comes to any of the maps is running these extra food stalls, right? These kiosks. You don't want a lot of these kiosks around. If you can have one of each type, you're doing really good. So to make sure that they're forcibly using them, I like to put my kiosk area in front of the library because a lot of students always have to use the library. And then I usually like to enclose this, surround it with washroom access, so as they're forced to use the washroom, forced to have a shower, then they can eat, and then they can go to the library and come on their way back out. Like I said, in this particular case, this map is very matured, right? So I didn't have to do that anymore. So I am spoiling them a little bit on this one because you can do that when you're making all kinds of muddies. But in this case, that is definitely one thing I would do. So 3 locations for you to watch out for: dormitories, of course, the lecture halls, and the library. Be sure to use those as a way to surround classrooms, surround areas, so as they're forced to go through either a medical section or a washroom or a shower area to access those areas. Now, to do that, of course, you just have to make sure that you're putting double doors on either side. And since you cannot directly connect 2 rooms together like that, you must put in a miniature hallway between each section. So in this case, you'll notice here that the shower room and the toiletry room are not directly connected. We've got this little tiny hallway here. Now, even though the temperature on this is probably quite high, yeah, it's a little higher because it doesn't have its own air conditioning, or on cold maps, this would not have its own heat. The students are in there so briefly, it doesn't really affect their moods or anything like that. So you don't have to worry about that. With that, that is room combinations and the gentle nudging of your students to be able to use washrooms, showers, medical facilities, and even pastoral care will do the same thing. And of course, with Space Academy coming out here in just a couple of days, of course, for many people it would have already been out. I hope you use these room combinations to make your students just that little bit more smarter. Is that a thing we can say? About being able to maintain themselves, so you're not getting a lot of debuffs on that. I'm Max. This has been 2 Point Campus Tips and Tutorials, and I will see you on the next one. Take care.